This is completely false. This is a myth. The ihram that you wear will have sewings done on the side. Sometimes the ihram that you will have decorations and designs on it. It doesn't nullify the ihram. Unstitched is an incorrect translation of the Arabic. What the Prophet ﷺ forbade was to wear a garment that covers a limb, such as it has a sleeve or a pant leg. This is what is prohibited. You have a garment that has a specific section for a limb. That's a hand or a foot, a hand or a leg. So pants and shirts and t-shirts and underwears, all of this is not allowed. This is the meaning of unstitched. Not that there's no needlework done on it, right? Your ihram that you wear, it has needlework done on the side of it. Unstitched means that it should not be like a cloth that is covering you. That's why the ihram is open. If you were to cover it, this would be stitched. If you were to sew the ihram together, right? For those who are from India, Pakistan, the lungi, right? That is a type of stitched cloth, right? An izar that is closed, whereas the ihram is an izar that is open. This is unstitched, right? So this is what a man should wear. He should wear 2 unstitched cloths. It can be of any color, but in our days you only find white. But the Sharia did not come necessarily with white, but you may wear any color. And in fact, the Prophet ﷺ had other colors as well, other than white. For women, they wear their regular clothes and regular dresses. There is no restriction on the clothing for women except for the face and the hands should not be covered with a stitched garment once again. Now we don't have any sisters who wear the niqab, so we don't have to worry about that. But for those sisters who do wear the niqab, there is a way they may cover their face with an unstitched garment, but we don't have to worry about that for most of the sisters coming from America. How does one enter into ihram? One verbalizes by the tongue, لبيك اللهم حجة وعمرة. This is, you're doing labbaik. Or you can just say labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Basically saying labbaik causes you to enter into ihram. So, preferably, you should be wearing this garment, like let's be realistic here. Suppose your plane is stopping in Amsterdam, right? Or London or wherever. So when the plane stops, you're wearing your pant shirt. Then in Amsterdam, in London, wherever the plane stops, you go and you wear the ihram. But you don't say labbaik because you're not in ihram right now. Right? You don't say it. You get on the plane, you're completely regular and normal. 5 minutes before you land, 10 minutes, just to be on the safe side, I say 15 minutes. But in reality, it is 5 minutes before you land. But just to be on the safe side, 15 minutes before you land, right? You say, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Once again, don't be so petty. It's like, oh, is it? You may enter into ihram before the miqat. So, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, be on the safe side. 10 minutes, you say, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Once you say labbaik, that's it. You are now in the state of ihram. Now, there are 3 types of ihrams or hajj you can do basically. 90% of the people who go from the west or the east perform hajj tamattu'. So we will talk about hajj tamattu'. If you're not doing hajj tamattu', come to me and I'll explain to you the other types of hajj. There's hajj qiran and hajj ifrad. There's 3 types of hajj. It's very easy to understand the difference. Most people, when they go for hajj, they want to also do an umrah. This is called tamattu'. You do an umrah, and then you get out of ihram, and then you do a hajj. This is tamattu'. So you do hajj plus umrah with a gap in the middle. This is tamattu'. Hajj qiran, hajj and umrah without a gap in the middle. And hajj ifrad, no umrah, just hajj. It's very simple, right? It's not that complicated. Hajj tamattu', you do umrah. You take a gap, 3, 4, 5 days. Some people go to Medina, right? Or you just worship, you pray. So umrah takes half an hour, 1 hour. If you're really busy and slow and you're new time, an hour and a half. Maximum. Umrah takes an hour and a half. Okay? So after you finish the umrah, now you get out of ihram, you may live a normal life until the 8th day of Dhul Hijjah, which is the first day of Hajj. Then you enter into the ihram again. So this is Hajj tamattu'. Tamattu' means enjoyment. Why is tamattu' called tamattu'? Because you get to enjoy a regular life in between the Hajj and Umrah. Right? Tamattu'. You're having enjoyment now. There's no prohibition on you. This is the Hajj I will describe. If you're doing another type of Hajj, come and talk to me, just minor modifications. Otherwise, Hajj tamattu', and Hajj tamattu' is the best type of Hajj. Hajj tamattu' is the best type of Hajj. Why? Because you do Hajj and Umrah both, right? And so this is why 90% of the Muslims, when they go for Hajj, they do Hajj tamattu'. So we said you enter into ihram, basically 5-10 minutes before Jeddah, and you pray 2 rak'at and you say ihram. Now, what is prohibited upon you when you enter into the state of ihram? 9 things. 9 things. 3 or 4 of them we don't have to worry about. Okay, so it basically boils down to a few things. Number 1, you are not allowed to shave or trim the hair. So the brothers who shave regularly, they cannot shave in the state of ihram. You cannot go to the barber in the state of ihram, right? So shaving or trimming the hair. And this prohibition also applies to women. Number 2, trimming the nails. And this also applies to women. Number 3, wearing a sewn garment, as we explained what a sewn garment means, right? You understand? It's a pant or a shirt. This only applies to men. Women wear their regular clothes, shalwar kameez or whatever they're wearing, their regular clothes. There is no prohibition on that. Their skirts, blouses, dresses, whatever they're used to wearing, culturally that is what they will continue to wear in the ihram, right? So number 3 for men is to wear a garment that has stitched, we explained what stitch means. Number 4, for men only, covering the hair. So you cannot wear a cap. You cannot wear any type of turban. Anything on the head is not allowed again for men. For women, of course, they wear their hijab. Number 5, perfume. And this applies to clothes and body. So you avoid perfume. 6 and 7 and 8 usually, and 9 is understood, no problem there. So usually there's a 5. Well, 6 is you're not allowed to hunt. We have no problem about hunting. We're not going to go take our gun or bow and arrow on the plane and go hunting in Mecca. We don't have to worry about that. So number 6 is hunting. Number 7 we also don't have to worry about, inshallah ta'ala, that is getting married. Okay? You're not allowed to get married in the state of ihram. Generally people don't go to Mecca in Dhul Hijjah to find a spouse, so we don't have to worry about that. Number 8 is basically any type of sexual foreplay with your spouse. So you're married in the state of ihram, you cannot kiss and you cannot touch with desire. You may touch without desire. You may hold your wife's hand so that you don't get lost. You may protect your wife from the crowd by basically holding her and making sure that, as you know, there's a lot of rush. During tawaf, it's very necessary for a husband to protect his wife, right? Because there's too much shoving and jostling. So you may do this, not a problem. Touching is allowed, but sexual touching, foreplay is not allowed, right? And then number 9, and that is one of the most severe penalties, that is actual intercourse with your wife. This will nullify the Hajj in the state of ihram. So 8 will not nullify. If you sexually kiss or touch, this will not nullify. That's why 9 is separate. If you do 9, then this nullifies, because that's exactly the point. وَلَمْ يَرْفُثْ. You don't reach the level of rafath. Now, what if you do one of these issues? What if you do any of these besides hunting? We don't worry about hunting, we don't worry about nikah. That's not our relevance here. First point, when we tell about the hair. Now please pay attention. I know what you have heard is separate than what I'm about to tell you. It's up to you whether you trust me or not, but as I said, I have done research and I have done plenty of hajjs. What is prohibited is to intentionally cut or trim the hair and the nails. People go to ridiculous extremes. And if they scratch and a hair falls out, they think their hajj is nullified or something like this, right? Or if the nail is a little bit broken accidentally, right? Then they're worried, because as you know, when your nails are going to grow, something might scratch it and your nail gets bent. What can you do with a bent nail now? So then they wrap their finger in a band-aid maybe, make sure that the nail doesn't break anymore. This is going to extremes. Anything that is unintentional is overlooked. Anything that is unintentional is overlooked. Additionally, there seems to be no prohibition whatsoever for a gentle combing for men and for women. Because the prohibition was halq, and that is to cut, and that is to shave. There seems to be no prohibition for a combing. And therefore, if you do comb and a hair or two falls off, this is not halq. This is not going to the barber, and this is overlooked. So if you intentionally shave or trim, and there's A reason or no reason. If there's no reason to do so, you are sinful. If there's a reason to do so, you're not sinful. But in both cases, you must give a penalty. Now, what is a reason? In those days, once upon a time, there was lice, right? Unfortunately, it's still around, but not that common. If you have lice, let's say, or if you have an irritation in the scalp, or if there's any issue that causes you to basically, you need to shave your hair off, right? Any type of issue. Suppose you get a wound, let's say, right? And you go to the local clinic right there and he shaves your hair off to put some stitches, let's say, okay, in the state of ihram. This is a reason, correct? You are not sinful, but you must pay the fidya. What is the fidya? The fidya for this, you have an option, one of three things. The most difficult in terms of money-wise is to pay the whole sacrifice. But it's not wajib to do so. For something as trivial as this, the Sharia has given you an option. One of three things. And it's not either first number one, then number two, then number three. You may choose whichever of the three. You may give a penalty of a sacrifice, that's $150, right? Or you may fast 3 days after Hajj, not during Hajj, when you come back home. Or you may feed 6 people. And of course, 90% of